This is a video of a training session of our friend Scott Dunmore in Boston, training his dog Dilly. Scott is working on heeling today. You should note the obvious relationship that Scott has with his dog, and specifically how he rewards the dog during his heeling training. You will see Scott reward with both his right hand and his left hand. He's very good at doing this. I'm currently in the middle of producing another video with Michael Ellis titled Training a Competition Heeling Dog. The work you see Scott doing will be laid out in training steps in our heeling DVD.
Yes, and get it. Really good.
So, have you been filming him each day, Cindy? Awesome. Because I want some of the footage of the Doug presentations for the healing video down the road.
Yeah, he's good.
It's the perfect presentation, and it's a right-handed presentation most of the time too, which most people have trouble with. There she does a left one for us. Nice. Thank you.
Cycle through them all, please, Scott.
What was that? I didn't want that.
No, great. Now we have you doing right hands and left hand.
Oh, you want it
presentations right. They were both done correctly. That's what we're after.
Oh, you have to do it. Yeah, she knew it. And she went,
Good boy.
Mom. Yeah. But that's what you, but our brain goes, yeah. Because it sounds totally different, yeah. It sounds different.
A little hydraulic, yeah.
And the more you want.
Good.
So one of the things that I argue with trainer friends about all the time is, can we speed up motion exercises by only rewarding faster repetitions? And in my opinion, you can't. Right? You can't. The dog doesn't know the difference between when they do it quickly and when they do it slowly. Right? They know basically that they sat or didn't sit. And the way we get fast motion exercises is by having the dog in the right frame of mind and motivational state when you do your motion exercises, assuming they learn to do them correctly in the first place, right? So if we're healing and my dog's not expecting it and I surprise them, or they just come and do it down and I say a sit instead, and they frequently then do the sit, but they maybe slower than normal, in their mind they don't say, oh, I sat a little slower that time, that's why you didn't reward me. Or I sat a little faster that time, that's why you rewarded me. So the best way to speed up, and it's the same kind of thing with jackpotting, like, oh, I'm going to reward a regular sit and jackpot a really fast sit. The dog sat quickly because it was expecting to sit and it was in the right motivational state. What you give them afterwards is not going to make them realize the difference between the two. And a lot of training people do that, say like, oh, I'm going to make it a little faster by upping my criteria each time. The dog only gets rewarded when it does it quickly. And I don't think they know the difference between sitting medium fast and sitting very fast. What's that? There's a school of thought that if you give the dog a large reward after they do something, they're going to associate that behavior with a large reward. But I think it's hard to make gradients, right? So if I give the dog a big reward, sure, that's rewarding to the dog. But I don't think the dog knows the difference between doing that behavior slightly faster. That's why they got it. They sat or didn't sit. Like certainly, if they didn't sit and I don't reward them, and then they did sit and I reward them, then they know the difference between that because it's two different behaviors. But subtle qualitative gradients, I don't think they know the difference, right? The dog says, I'm doing the behavior that I've been trained to do, and because I did it a little faster this time, I don't think they're aware of those subtle differences. It's our criteria, and in their head, they're not making those associations.
a little bit of play and then getting it faster there.
Yeah.
You can see where it's actually happening, then you
Yeah, and that's why people train in the pattern. Right? So, because then the dog is expecting it, and the more they are, if they're in drive and expecting it, then it's fast. If they're not, then it sometimes isn't. And then there are some dogs that just move quickly, right? So part of that is just like people, there are dogs that are capable of doing something at a certain speed, and there are other dogs that aren't. No matter what you do, they're physically, the brain-body connection for them is not that fast. And we see it all the time. There are athletes, professional athletes, and their brain-body connection is really good. Right? And no matter how hard I work at it, mine may never be as good as theirs, right? And it's the same with dogs, right? There are going to be dogs that do things very quickly, period.
Double.
Nice. Oh, those are forging in the build-up. It's quite nice. But we know that already, don't we?
Part of his job.
That is vocalizing both of us.
I hope to have the DVD on competition healing finished in the first quarter, towards the end of the first quarter of 2010.